Good evening. Hi, everyone. Hey, thanks for stopping in tonight on this Thursday. We have 1 week until Christmas, which is crazy. I cannot believe we're already a week before Christmas. That's wild to me. Um, I don't know about you, but time is flying right on by. So hi, thanks for stopping in tonight, even though it's a week before Christmas. I appreciate you being here. Um, And if this is your first time, welcome. I am very happy that you're here. I am also pretty new to this, so I appreciate anybody who's listening. So thank you. So if you don't know me, my name is Renee Pinkley, and I am actually been trying to get started with a YouTube channel, and I'm actually extremely excited because I am now starting a podcast, and I really, really want this to be just an amazing experience, not only for me, but for you guys, if you're listening. I really hope that you find encouragement in this and excitement, because I know I am freaking excited about it for sure. So I've always wanted to do something like this. It's rather scary. It's a little intimidating at times, of course, because number one, I'm the only one talking. And the other reason is because, I'm a very kind of open person. So I talk pretty openly about some of my own personal struggles and things like that. So, it's a like a vulnerable, moment. So anyhow, so enough about that right now, because I'll just go on and on. But thank you for coming, and thank you for being here and listening. So welcome. This is actually going to be episode 1 of my podcast. Okay, wanted to kind of jump right on into that and give a little bit of an update as to what I was thinking. And I do have a YouTube channel, and I don't have a bunch of videos on there yet or anything like that. But my last video that I made, I had talked about, just really like kind of the direction that I want to go with this whole thing, with this whole idea of, I wasn't even certain if I wanted to do a podcast or exactly how I wanted to get started. But since I have decided that I am going to do a podcast, and it's really going to be based off of a few things, but the biggest and like bottom line, I guess, of the podcast is going to be about gratitude. So that's just one small portion of it, but that'll give you an idea of kind of where the direction is that I want to see this go. So for my podcast, I'll break the news to you all who are listening. The name of the podcast is going to be Gratitude After the Storm. So that is the name of this. And, again, I want it to be more focused on gratitude. And what I mean by that, and I talk about that in the last video that I made for YouTube, but what I mean by that is just really, gratitude, and just learning how we can really focus on ourselves. You know what I mean? It's not just about always just being like on cloud 9, because we're not always, right? So I don't care who we are, life is tough at times. But I don't want to talk about just narcissistic abuse and that type of thing. That is a big part of my journey, and that is a big topic that we will discuss on here. But I don't want that to be our only topic, because the people who are left, here on this world and surviving in our own place, I want to give encouragement. That's the kind of person that I am. That is why I'm on this earth. That's why God sent me here, is to be encouraging to others, to pray for them, to be compassionate, to show empathy, to identify with them, because I am able to feel other people's emotions and their feelings. So, there's just a lot of really great things. and I want this to be a place of healing rather than staying stuck in toxicity. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's kind of like a brief summary here of like where I'm kind of going with this podcast. But again, gratitude after the storm, right? So welcome. Let's start there. Thank you for being here again. I'm super excited, and if I can help you, please let me know. I'm really anxious, not anxious, that's the wrong word, but just really excited. I feel at peace about making this podcast with everybody, and I'm just really excited about it. So I hope that I can be a light to each of you, and any of you who are struggling. I hope that I'm able to help you in any way. So yay. So that's the name of the podcast, right? So I wanted to start out with a little bit of an introduction. So again, some of you might already know me. The few of you who watch my few little videos, but I do try to make a lot of jokes along the way because hey, there's no reason to be so serious all the time. So a little bit of a background. I'll try to make it brief, but obviously you want to understand what I'm even doing here, right? So a bit of a background. So I was married. I have 3 kids. I am not married any longer. I am divorced. And not to stay on that topic very long, but I was married to a person that for almost 30 years. So we have 3 kids together, and and I went through. And again, this is not to dog on the ex-husband or anything like that, okay? Like, we're all just human beings. We're all just trying to survive and make it. And without him, I wouldn't have a story, right? But I don't do a lot of talking online about it, but I'm just going to say, it was a narcissistic situation, and I am coming, out of that from being married. I am 2 years divorced at this time in my life, and basically, after you've been with somebody that long, a lot of times you just really don't know where to even begin, and it's hard. It's hard for people. So excuse me. I feel like I was choking on something, but anyhow, sorry about that. So I did write a book. Actually, I'll show you. So I wrote a book. It's called From Broken Spirit to Finding a Path to Freedom. And this is available anywhere that you would find a book to purchase. You can buy this on Amazon. You can buy this in bookstores. You can buy this all online. You could Google it, buy it, anything. It's out there. It's written by me. There is also an audio book, so that is on Audible. If you want to pull that up and listen to it, you certainly can. This is a book. This is my life story book, and this gives a lot more background in my book about what my goal is here and the past of where I came from. However, I prefer to more or less, a lot of the storyline about my marriage, you'll find in the book. Because, my whole goal is not to be on here and like talking mad crap about anybody, whether it was my ex-husband or anybody's husband. Narcissistic abuse is a real thing, and we will definitely discuss that. But I don't want to get into like the nitty gritty on here. So again, if you want to find a copy of this, or if you don't know where to find it, reach out. Below, you should be able to put something. This is going to be a new platform for me, but I will make sure that you have access to sending me a message, but please feel free. I mean, if you need a copy, let me know. If you don't have the money to buy a copy, let me know. I'll send you a copy. I'd be really happy to do that. And I would be really happy for you to give me a review after you're done reading it. So that would be what I would ask in return. So yeah, so reach out and let me know. So anyhow, so that is available to you all as well. But so that is so that's kind of a little bit of introduction. So after going through a divorce and being in a relationship for that many years and being married for that many years, and coming out of that and I had to learn how to be on my own. I mean, I just have never done that in my life. Like, I have never in my life lived on my own. I lived with my parents. I got married, and then I was always with my husband, and we have 3 kids together. So all the way up until I was divorced, I was living with my husband and 2 of my kids at the time. So I also became an empty nester along the way. And that's a big one. That's a big topic. I'm really super close with my kids. Like, really close. Like, I can almost like not even discuss how close I am without getting like teary-eyed, because that is just like how close we are. It's super crazy. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for our relationship. I'm thankful for my kids. And if I do get a little teary-eyed, I am sorry. But I am 100% a very emotional kind of person. And unfortunately, and fortunately all at the same time, that is who I am. But that's also why I'm able to identify with people on the level that I can, because I am such an empathic person, and I really feel other people's needs and feelings. And, just a lot of times I can recognize where they're at in their life, just based off of just feeling their energy and their emotions. It's quite wild. Sometimes I'm like, is this a blessing or is this a curse? But of course, here's the crazy part, is this is the first time in my life that I'm really, really trying to go down this path, because there is an absolute calling for me to be able to be this person. So I hope that I'm helpful to you. I hope that I encourage everybody out there who is listening. That is just, if I can help one person, I always say, even with the book that I wrote, if I can help one person, I would be so happy and so thankful for that. So anyhow, so that's kind of an introduction about me. My kids are grown, just so you know. I have all my kids are all in their 20s. They're grown, and I have a dog, so I am definitely a dog mother. I don't really call myself that, but I'm definitely a dog mom, and I currently I have recently adopted a little Maltese, and you'll see her, but right now she's really tired tonight, so she is like slumped right now on the couch. But she's a little white fur ball, and she's sweet as can be. She's awesome. And I do a lot of talking about my Yorkshire Terrier that I had. His name was Jackson Joseph, and I lost him, unfortunately, in April, and it was devastating. So, but I will always talk about him because he was a huge part of my world, and animals are a huge part of me as a person. They just are. I love them. It gives me something to care for, and I need them. And you know what? I might need them more than they need me, but I'm all about it. So my little girl, her name is Lily Rose, and you will definitely see her on a video, but it's not looking like tonight. I gotta say, she's real tired. So yeah, so that's a part of my introduction. So yeah, so back to the name of the podcast. So I kind of want to talk a little bit, and you're going to see me look at my screen a little bit. I don't have things, I have things typed out, but it's on my monitor, and my monitor's in front of me. So I might look over at that at times, but I just kind of wanted to touch base. So, just to kind of give everybody an idea of where I was coming from with the name of the podcast. So, gratitude after the storm. So I kind of wanted to break that down a little bit more and explain, where that stemmed from for me on a personal level. Um, uh, the part about gratitude, gratitude for me really implies that it's rebuilding something. So I have been, rebuilding my life now for, well, it's been more than 2 years, but 2 years I have been on my own. But for 2 years, I have been rebuilding my life. So I really felt that gratitude just kind of implies that it is rebuilding. And I'm not denying what happened, and I'm also really, it's hard to say when we go through these times in our lives that, not that it's hard to say, but it's hard to find. Like, it's hard to find or determine that we have identified it as gratitude. Gratitude is very hard to discover that it's a gratitude when you are going through a process of utter chaos, right? Or you're shattered and you're broken and you're in a lot of pieces and you're emotionally and mentally, and then which unfortunately affects you physically and spiritually, and you're all of those things shattered, right? And you don't even know who you are as a person. So it's extremely hard to find gratitude in that. So rather than denying that, this has happened, I really felt that, it implied that I'm rebuilding my life. And by each little rebuild and each little step I take, that's where I can learn to find gratitude. So I hope that makes sense on where that kind of comes from, because, it's very hard. And, and I'll get into talking a lot more about where I was, and where I am. I mean, that I'm still on a healing journey. And trust me when I say this is a journey. This will take me, I'll probably never be done healing. Number one, I'm not the kind of person who ever is done improving. I've never been that kind of person. I think there for a while, I just became so tired like that, on that level, it was really hard to continue and to push forward. But I always want to be better. I always want to improve myself. And, we can get into the nitty gritties of what that means, but I'm just talking about mentally, emotionally, really striving to be a better person than I was, the day before, and just learning more. Like, I want to learn these things. I want to learn how to be a strong, freaking person, right? Like, no matter what that means. So anyhow, so you'll hear me do this a lot. So I need to stay focused here. So back to the gratitude. So that's the reason that I wanted gratitude to be in the name of my podcast name. So, because number one, gratitude is one of the biggest things that I really want us to focus on here on this podcast. And this is just going to be a great place to find a lot of encouragement. And that's what I'm hoping for. So gratitude after the storm. So the after the storm part, I just want to explain that rather simply, which I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it implies survival, right? So we are just surviving. And a lot of times, if you've been through something, and I'll always go back to myself, because what I'm going to talk about on here, I've been through, I've lived it, I understand it, and I always think, I'm not saying this like 100% fact, okay, but this is just what I believe. I believe if you've not really gone through something specifically, that you don't understand it on that level. You just can't, if you just, it would be like me talking about, I don't know, like growing potatoes, okay? Like, I don't know, that's the only thing I think of right now. A person who has a potato farm, they could be so passionate about their potatoes and, how simple it is to grow these potatoes. You just do whatever. And trust me when I say, this is the most off the topic thing because I have never in my life even thought about growing a potato, let alone have a whole farm. So I have no idea what I'm talking about here. But let's just say that somebody is so passionate about that and, they know how to do all that. And I just act like, well, I totally understand. I mean, absolutely. That's so much work to have a potato farm. But yet I've never in my life had a potato farm, or I've never even grown one potato. So how would I really know? Like, I have nothing to identify that like to, because I've never done it. I've never been through it. And I most certainly have no experience with it because, good Lord, if anybody knows me, they all know I don't even like to go outside. And I certainly don't put my hands in the dirt and grow potatoes. So so it just wouldn't even make any sense, right? So I'm not saying that people can't recognize and understand and put themselves in their, another person's shoes and get it. Okay, we're all not going to completely, be able to identify on every level with a person, but I'm just saying what I talk about here on this podcast is going to be firsthand stuff. So if I'm talking about it, I've either lived through it, I've been through it, I'm going through it, or I'm freaking trying to get over it. Like, one of the four things is happening. So, I'm constantly like, I need to work on myself. I need to get better. I need to be more positive. I need to show more gratitude. I need to realize that it's okay to cry at times. I have breakdowns all the time, and I'm going to tell you, I just do not think, I don't think that it will ever really fully be gone. It's always going to be part of my life and who I am as a person. It has shaped me into who I am as a person. It doesn't mean that I have to carry around the baggage, right? But or the heaviness of not knowing how to process it. But it's always going to be part of me. I mean, it's just is what it is. So, they call it heartbreak for a reason. Your heart just didn't not break. It actually, mine actually shattered. So, like, literally, like, there are pieces missing because, when something shatters, you can't find all the freaking pieces. So, so anyhow, so 22 minutes in, that's my introduction. So, if you have not watched my YouTube channel, again, I don't have many videos, but that's okay. I have to start somewhere, and this is where I'm at. You can find it. It's under reneepinkleyhealing.com, and you're able to find it there. And if you have any questions or have any comments, leave them, on there on the video. You can also see a trailer to my book, so please feel free to watch that. And feel free if, you want to, like I said, reach out if you want a copy of the book. I would be more than happy to get you one. Why does this podcast exist? I'm pretty sure I've probably already told you, but I'm going to tell you again in a simple term. This podcast exists because it is so needed. Okay. It is so needed. I want to be able to talk about the trauma that I've gone through. And this isn't just for me to talk about, okay? I mean, I don't find encouragement in just talking about my trauma. Like, it does not make me happy to discuss it. But you have to have a foundation to talk about the trauma to be able to then talk about how to heal from that and then how to find the gratitude. Okay, so we have to talk about the trauma because the trauma is why we're even in this position. And we certainly wouldn't be trying to find out who we are as people and what we're doing and how we can survive and how we can heal and how we can find gratitude in our lives if we haven't been through trauma. So it all works hand in hand, So, but, trauma and gratitude, they can survive together, and we can do that together. We can have both together. We don't have to stay stuck on the trauma and just stay wallowing. I'm not sure if that's a total word, but keep in mind, my dad is from Tennessee, so I have a bit of southernness in me. But, you know, we might wallow in, our trauma at times, for sure. But it's learning how to do that, and then also learning how to have gratitude from it and finding that peace to hold on to and to better ourselves. So my shirt, just so you know, in case you want to know what it says, I actually just got this and I think it's super beautiful. And I thought it was such a great message for the first podcast, right? Stay positive, keep moving forward. I love it. I just think it's great. It's a great message. It's perfect for today. It's perfect for tonight. So welcome. So welcome. This is going to be, I want this to be a very safe space. So that's really, where I want to start. So we did the introduction, and I really appreciate that. And I want you to know, as we kind of go through different things, I mean, we're going to talk about different topics throughout time. And if there's anything out there that somebody specifically wants to talk about, please let me know. I'm not going to sit here and like list them all out, but there's going to be, the majority of things is going to be based around narcissistic abuse, emotional trauma, relationship trauma, PTSD trauma, the life changes that have changed you and shaped you because, and even if it's not, and I talk about this in my last video that's on YouTube, but even if it's not just about relationships, because it's not always just about relationships, I mean, we have a lot of things that can very much shape us and cause trauma and cause PTSD and cause grief. I mean, grief is just, it's just so much. But these things change us. I mean, they literally change who we are as a person, and they change our outlook on life. And this could be positive or negative, or it could be indifferent. I mean, it could just be where, we kind of shut down and we don't move forward with our lives. We just stay stagnant, and listen, I don't have it all figured out, I just don't. But I know this, that every day I try to do better and better. And every day I have a goal, every day my goal is, I gotta do this, and so I just feel like these times where life has thrown something your way, and it's really changed you. Maybe you've lost a job, maybe you lost a loved one that passed away, I mean, that's not anybody's fault that they passed away. I mean, a divorce, I guess we could start placing blame and saying, oh, this person said this and they did this. And, at the end of the day, I mean, you kind of both stunk, it's like, it's not always just one or the other. I mean, it kind of is both people, it's like, and you got to kind of take that ownership in it, and that's not easy to do, and especially when you've gone through trauma really does a number on us. So we're just really trying to figure out like how to keep on going through our lives without losing who we are, or going through our lives and finally finding who we are. That's good stuff right there, you guys. I mean, I'm serious because, I understand. I understand it because, again, I'm talking about it. I didn't know who I was. You kidding me? No idea. No idea who I was. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what being alone can do for a person. many times. And I don't mean that like that's an easy task, because it is absolutely not. So if you're here, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you. Welcome to you, because there's a reason you're here. And I think that says a lot. And it takes a lot. And give yourself grace for showing up, because wow, that's incredible. Like, you showed up. You did that for yourself. I think that's incredible. That tells me, if you're here and you're listening, that you want the same thing I want. And the same thing I want is to grow, to be a better person, to not just survive, to thrive. Like, how exciting that is. To have hope again, like, to have enjoyment, to smile and actually mean it. I mean, I just think it's great, So, you don't always have to be positive. You don't always have to have it all figured out. Who has it all figured out? I don't think there is nobody who has it all figured out, including the people who live to be, 110. They don't have it all figured out. But you're here, and this is a safe zone. This is a space that you can be yourself. You can open up. You can be vulnerable. We're a no judgment zone. Please feel that vibe. I hope you feel that vibe here. I really do. It's very, very important to me that you feel that. This needs to be a safe space. I need a safe space. And that's exactly why I want this channel. And I'm just so over the moon about it. I really am. I mean, the amount of people that I am going to meet, I don't say, I hope I meet, because no, I'm going to meet you all. Like, if I don't know you, I'm going to meet you. And I'm so excited about it. Let me take a drink. But I want you to think about, good for you for coming, and good for you for showing up. Think about that. That's where we're going to start. That's my introduction. You see where this is going, right? Mm-hmm. No, but for real, yeah, I feel really happy about this. So okay, so kind of want to go on a little bit further here. Give me just 1 second. So, gratitude, I just wanted to wanted to wrap my brain here a little bit around what I wanted to say or how to say it. What I've learned about gratitude is just quite a few things, truthfully. But one thing about gratitude that I never really understood, and it wasn't until I was actually sitting down to go through what I wanted to talk about here with you guys. Gratitude, I always thought I would find gratitude at the end of the journey, meaning not the end of my life, but the end of the journey. So the storm, right? The storm's here. It's rocking the boat. The boat's flipped over 495 times, and I am just like drowning in water, and I'm a mess, right? And, until everything's put back together, I'm on dry land. I've showered. I have a, nice little meal in front of me. I thought it would be like that's when you find the gratitude at that time. But it's not the case. It's so weird. And this has been first of all, this has been a very gradual thing for me. So that's number one. It's been very gradual. I didn't find gratitude specifically, or I didn't realize that I was grasping the gratitude that I was grasping, if that makes sense. So it was really a slow, quiet, and sometimes very painful thing to go through. And then at the end of those moments, so many times I would just feel so grateful and so at peace. There is something to be said about the peace on the inside of me, because I don't think it's just about like because some of you might not know, but I enjoy doing meditation. I really love it. I'm not like as consistent with it as I should be, but there's a lot about me that is just able to do it when I need to. But the peace that I feel is a little bit stronger than it just being about that. So, and I think a lot of it is just finding and learning how to be grateful for the things that I have been able to grow through. So step by step, little bit at a time, right? So another thing I've learned is that gratitude doesn't mean being thankful for what hurt us. I think a lot of times I used to get confused, almost like, well, we're supposed to be, being thankful for, what we went through. Well, I got to tell you, I don't know about you, but I'm not really feeling thankful about that. But what I have learned to be thankful for is where I've come from that. So I'm not looking back saying, well, I'm so grateful in that moment when, this person said this and treated me like this and made me feel like this small. I loved it. I was so grateful for it. Zero way was I grateful for that. It was actually very annoying and aggravating, and I don't want to be around a person like that. So learning to find gratitude from the situation, though, has been about focusing on what steps I have continued to improve on. And I talk in my last video about taking small baby steps, right? Like small little steps day in, day out. And it's amazing as we start doing that, just literally how quickly they add up. And we don't even really, we're not thinking about it. We're not sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, freaking, I have to go and drink another cup of water. But if you're just like got cups of water sitting all over the house and you're just sipping away here and there, when you go to this room, go to that room, and the next thing you know, you drink like 4 cups of water that day because, you've been cruising around to different rooms and you took these little baby steps. And the next thing you knew, you've accomplished this great big thing that seemed like a really big thing. And if you would have jumped in freaking head first, right? Like you would have just been like, this is way too hard. Okay. Just way too hard. It's way too hard. I can't do this. I can't drink all this water today. It's just way too much water. So just finding those small steps, man. It's just incredibly amazing. I think it's wild. So, I just really think that just finding those little steps is just a huge thing. But I really want to tell you this. So I wrote this down and it just really resonates with me. So, gratitude, it really means learning how to find the small moments of steadiness. So steadiness is like the small steps I'm talking about. So small moments of steadiness, clarity, and peace after the storm has passed, or even while the clouds are still there. I mean, what an amazing thing. And it's so true. There are so many times I cannot tell you that I will be sitting there and I'm literally living in my space, tears streaming down my eyes. But yet I feel such peace and stillness on the inside of me. It's the wildest thing. It is so wild. But I'm going to tell you that's the small steps. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today. Small steps, keep doing them, keep repeating them. But I love the thought of the small moments of steadiness, because really the steadiness is so true. I mean, it's small steps that are leading in the right direction, but it is such steadiness and clarity. I mean, hello, and peace. Oh, peace is all that I've ever wanted in my life. I honestly say, if I have no idea if I'll ever, meet another person or not. It's not looking so good though. But, there, it's wild to me. I just guess I think, I would not give up my peace to be with another person. I honestly wouldn't. Like, my peace is so valuable to me. And I am just such at peace. I mean, it's so crazy. And, many of you that may know me, if you're listening, and many of you who are new here might not know, I am a Christian as well. I do, believe in God and all of that. And that's a huge thing as well for me. But there's a lot to be said about just the peacefulness that I feel inside, and I wouldn't have that without all of these things that I've done over time, these last 2 years, honestly. I mean, and look at this now, 2 years in, and here I am sitting with you guys. I'm over the moon about that. That's awesome. But this podcast, it's not about just pretending like everything's okay. It's okay to talk about what you've been through, and it's okay um, to be frustrated about that, because we're going to have a lot of topics about that, and really dive into narcissistic abuse and that type of abuse that we have gone through, because obviously that's a big topic on here. That's going to be a big topic on here. But I just hope that you're able to find kind of how I did, like that we just kind of simply and gently learn how to find some gratitude in our life, learn how to be compassionate and empathetic towards others and love others, and really learn to live with this pain that we have, because again, I don't believe it goes away. I really do not believe that it goes away. I believe that we learn how to manage it. I don't think it ever fully leaves us. And, if I'm wrong, I guess maybe then, we'll find out together, but I'm pretty certain I'm not. Pretty certain I'm not wrong. Um, I don't think there's ever a time I could forget any of this stuff. I mean, forgetting, you can't really, yeah, it's hard to forget, you can forgive and you can move past for sure. And then learning how to really focus in on yourself. And that's what we want to do here. We want to learn how to almost be selfish. And, I've given so much of myself over the years, and I don't know about you, but man, does it get tiring. And so, yeah, at this point in my life, I'm like, it's kind of going to be about me, because, I don't even have the energy for it to be about anybody else, honestly. I mean, I feed the dog, okay? And, she's like top priority. But I'm going to tell you, like, to give to everybody else, I just I don't have the capacity to even do that at this point in my life. So, so if you're not able to do that either, please don't feel bad. But, so one of the things, let's just talk about gratitude a little bit more. And, because I think that, during this week or these next few days until I make, have the next podcast, I at least kind of want to do this weekly. I'm thinking it might be every other, or I'm sorry, twice a week, but it's probably going to be really weekly that I'm going to make videos. So it'll give us time to like really break apart these things. And this one might not be as much that I'm going to leave you with to like resonate with over the week, but sometimes I'm going to leave you with some things to really like consider and write down for yourself. You know, you can get a journal if you like to journal. You can write down like some, you know, bullet points on our conversations and then look those over during the week and just kind of stay focused. But on this one, I am going to kind of go back a little bit and emphasize a couple things from my last video, because I just made a video a few days ago, and that's the one on YouTube. So I kind of want to pull that in a little bit so you get the same amount of information on what to focus on this week. And then start writing that down and just start seeing your journey play out in front of you. Because again, it's a great example of the small steps that you're taking. So if you write out 1, 2 things, right? You're focused on 1 and 2 this week, blah, right? And then, you know, write them out, and then the next week you come and then you start thinking about, because we'll talk about 1 and 2. How did you feel during the week? What was this like for you? What was going through your mind? Did this help you? And if it didn't, you know, what do you think could help you? Different things like that. So as you start writing that stuff down and you start doing little steps, you just, all of a sudden, you're just going to start seeing that it's building up and building up. And the next thing you know, oh my goodness, man, I'm not sitting around thinking about all this like every day. I'm actually able to move forward a little bit more and a little bit more. And I'm starting to see progress. Because a lot of you might be back there. You haven't even begun. You might know what you need to do, but you haven't even maybe fully removed yourself yet from the situation. Or you may be thinking, I don't really know what's going through my mind. How do I even know where to begin? How could I possibly even be thinking this? So then you're really even a step further back. You know what I mean? So I'm really kind of wanting to bring to you on the end of things of what does that really look like? You know, like where you might even be in your journey, because the journey also has to do with, you know, how much longer this might take, you know, and that's okay. I don't want it to be overwhelming, because everything is about steps. That's what it's all about. So okay. So let me just pop into this a little bit. So back to gratitude. So when I'm talking about gratitude on the podcast, I'm not talking about forcing yourself to feel thankful about everything when you're hurting, okay? So I just kind of want to clear up certain things in case you're thinking of that I'm thinking that. So when you're really feeling something, you're not going to be like, oh man, I'm really feeling really grateful for feeling like crap right now. No, you're not. So no. I absolutely not. When you're feeling something, I want you to sit down and I want you to actually do the opposite. I want you to feel it all the way. I want you to go through it all the way. I don't want you to go over it. I don't want you to go around it. I don't want you to go under it. I want you to literally go all the way through it. And what I mean by that, if you don't know, because some of these things are really, really hard and were really, really hard for me to grasp. Because when you've gone through trauma and when you've gone through abuse and when you've gone through a lot of that messes with your psyche, okay? And it messes with your process on how to understand and really recognize what you're trying to even recognize. So what I mean by that is when we're having these feelings, whatever they are, okay, like, oh my gosh, I'll just, I'll play out like an example. So I'm the kind of person who needs examples to make me kind of sometimes like really understand and recognize what somebody's saying. So if I am like, oh my gosh, like I am literally in this moment, I'm so sad, I'm crying, I'm so upset. How in the world am I going to even possibly live today without this person in my life who I love so much and I have given my all to, but yet live without this person for the rest of my life, okay? Tears streaming, and all I want to do is get in my car and run away and go hide and maybe move out of state, right? Like, don't you feel that way? So I do a lot of laughing with this because, again, we're all just human beings. And I'm the type of person who wants to run and hide and literally not be seen by anybody. I need to hide. I need shelter. I'm scared. This is a scary place for me. So in those moments, I most certainly would rather not feel that emotion, right? So if I jumped in my car and started shopping and doing all this stuff, or jumped in my car and started driving out of state, I'm going to try to get past it. So I'm going to jump over the freaking little mountain of emotions rather than go through it. And if I'm hiding, well, then I'm hiding under it because, oh gosh, I don't want to think about all of those emotions. Get them out of here, And I certainly am not going to just like, I don't know, go through them if I could, I don't know, run around them, right? Like, so let my brain go, oh my gosh, well, it's his fault, or oh my gosh, it's that person's fault, or oh my goodness, like, and then you just start rabbit trailing and like going down the rabbit hole of like all this stuff. And you're like, oh, well, then that, and then this, and then the next thing you know, you're crying more. And you know what? I want you to sit and just keep going through the emotion and feel everything about it. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do that I can't be with this person that I love today and just today? What am I going to do for today? And so you start breaking it down into smaller pieces, but you're going through it and you're not leaving. And you're not trying to jump over it or under it or go around it. Instead, you're going through it, but then you're redirecting your thoughts. You have to keep redirecting your thoughts back to the reality. You can't see this person today, just today. That's it. Just today. It doesn't matter. In your head, it might be never. We're not talking about never. Just today. That's it. Only today. And it might be so sad, and that's okay, because you're going to cry, and I want you to cry, and I want you to be sad. And if you get mad, be mad. I mean, good for you if you get mad. I don't know why I always want to get mad. I don't get mad. I just cry. It's really, really rare that I can get mad. I have so many just emotional outbursts of sadness. So mine is not any sort of anger whatsoever. It's just complete sadness. So I just sit there and I let myself cry. And so many times I can't even control it, truthfully. But every time you do that, you are teaching yourself that, number one, it's okay. You're allowed to feel that feeling, and you should feel it. And you know what? You need to feel it, and you need to release it, because if you don't release it, then you are not going to heal. You're just not. And it might take you 39 years to stop crying. I don't know. It might take you 47 years to stop being so mad about it. It might. But you know what? Every time you go through it, and every time you feel it, and every single time that you just keep on saying, I'm going to be okay, you're teaching yourself something, and you keep becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. Guarantee you every time. So again, write that down. Little things. And that is if you like to write things down. I am terrible at writing stuff down. So I'm not one who's going to sit here and press like anything on you. You do whatever works for you. But I say things just as just like an idea for you. I mean, when I write a note, it's literally like this. I write literally like 3 things and I draw like a picture. So, I mean, that's just not me. I'm not somebody who writes things down, but it's all up here. And then, so I just process things differently. So everybody's different. Find what works for you. But if you write it down, it is kind of fun because you can look back on it and you can see right in front of you the progress that you've made. I think it's amazing. Wow, it's just amazing. So I really, really want you to start looking at just some of these small steps of what is the right word? These small steps that you have taken that have been positive in your life. That's the word. So, positivity is just really coming down to saying, man, you know what, Renee, you've just done great. You've done great. And then just be thankful for that. And that's it. It's not all that hard. We don't have to overthink it. I think a lot of us overthink it. I overthink everything. So don't stress if you do overthink it. Just know that I'm trying to tell you this so you can break it down on smaller steps. But find the positivity for yourself in the small steps that you have accomplished, because wow, what an amazing thing that you've done. You've been through so much, or you're going through so much, and my heart and my prayers and my thoughts are 100% with you, because I know what it's like, and I'm still going through things, and I think that's what makes this great to be together. So sometimes we can just find positivity in just saying, I made it through today, or I made it through the week. What an accomplishment. I got up today and, I actually got dressed and I left the house and I looked down and I was fully clothed. I can't tell you how many times I've left this house and I've done this. Oh, thank God I've got clothes on. Honestly. And that is it's not a joke. It's not like oh, ha, ha, ha. That's where my brain is. So, I mean, yeah, people are lucky. They're really, really lucky, because where I could have showed up without my clothes would, be quite scary, I gotta say. So yeah, I want you to think about that. Be grateful for the mornings when you get up and it's just quiet and you just be alone and really find that peace. I mean, what a great thing to have. It really is just a great thing to have. So okay. So I want to leave you with a couple of things. So I want to leave you, bear with me a second, because I want to go to the right page, but, I want to leave you with 2 different things, actually. So, one is that I want to say to find in your heart how to be grateful for the lessons that you've learned. And, really not just the people that's around you, but what are the lessons that you have learned through this process? So that's something that I want you to think about this week. So I want you to write down that, being grateful for lessons, not just people, because a lot of times the lessons are just, these small steps, right? And then I really want you to appreciate the small wins. So when you start to recognize that you are really feeling like you've accomplished this, or even, after just time and time again, just sitting in these emotions and going through these different things, you know, how are you feeling at the end of that? Like, I want you to start writing it down and thinking about it, and then really valuing the wins, the small things that you have actually accomplished, because those are huge. You know what I mean? So it just healing's not about becoming who you used to be. So a lot of times I think that we stay stuck in who we used to be, and how do we get back to that person? But we're not that person anymore. When we've gone through big life changes or monumental things, we are not that person any longer, and we have to accept now who we are as a person. And it's okay that we're different, but we're never going to be that person again, because our entire surroundings are different. So we're never going to be that person again. So healing isn't about becoming who you used to be. It's about becoming someone who feels safe in their own life again. It's about hope, like really like having hope of just enjoying the small things again and loving who you are as a person. So just kind of remember that, we can't rush through our healing process. There's a lot of times that people act like, we maybe are not, we're not healed the right way or fast enough for their, thinking or whatever, it may be. And I think a lot of times we even put that pressure on ourselves, but we can't rush our healing. There's zero way. I mean, again, 100% do I believe. I do not think that the healing process will ever be fully from my life. I just don't. I don't think that. I think that it will always be a process, and it will always be a part of constant healing. And I don't think it'll be torture all the time, but I think it will be, a large part of just who I am as a person. And so just keep that in mind. Think about that this week, that I'm going to say it again. Put it in here. So hopefully there's a spot I can put a note in here, because I'm going to add that. So let me write that down, because I want to add that to the weekly list. So I'm going to put in there the 2 topics to focus on this week, but I'm going to put this in there. Healing isn't about becoming who you used to be. I'm sorry that my camera keeps moving. That's annoying. Okay, I'm going to restart that part. Healing isn't about becoming who you used to be. It's about becoming someone who feels safe in their own life again. That's huge. So think about that this week. That's the goal. We want to get to a safe space, and we want to get to a space where we feel able to sit with ourselves and be comfortable. That's big. So, yeah. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, I mean it with everything that I have. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting yourself first and being here. This is, this is huge. This is huge for you, making that step, that you have, that you're here. So I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here to listen. And I hope that this is helpful. I really do. I hope it's beneficial to you. Reach out if you have any questions. If I can pray with you, I would be more than happy to. If you need to have a call with me, let me know. I'm always happy to do that. Sorry again about my camera. It's gone crazy. I don't know if my phone is just tired, if it's just going crazy or what, but it's moving on its own. Wild. But thank you again for being here. Focus on you this week. Take care of yourself. Take small steps and be happy when you do. Give yourself grace and be thankful for the little things that you're doing for yourself. You deserve it, and you matter, and I want you to know that. So you showed up, be proud, and thank you again. I'll see you in the next chapter of our podcast. But thanks for joining Gratitude After the Storm. All right. Bye, friends. Take care.